This is a demonstration video for Chapter 5 of Extending Art of Illusion. In this chapter we deal primarily with collision detection, and we do it in the context of resting one object on top of another. Um, you'll see on the screen here that we have um, the scene that's shown in the book. It's a table sitting on the floor, and then we have various objects that are placed on the table, and at this point they're actually all resting on the table. But if we were to select one of these objects, we already have one selected. Um, so we move it up some distance. So now it's like we might have it if we had drawn it in the scene. Um, so we want this to rest on the table, and because we've probably been drawing this scene by hand, we probably don't know exactly where these things are. Now you can go look at where objects are placed and the width of the objects and all this, and you can find the exact location, and you can just eyeball it and maybe get where you want it to. But um, what this tool does for you is it actually allows you to let Art of Illusion place things on the table for you. So we have this object selected. We just want to we go over to the object menu and this menu item place on. Um, Select that, and it drops the object down to the table. Now in chapter 4 we um, had it actually had an object being placed on the floor, which was defined as the 0 point of the scene, whereas here we actually had to go find where it has to be dropped to. So we actually had to look through the scene. We had to figure out which objects it might collide with, and then we had to determine where it will hit that object. Of course, we have this sphere here. It's not flat, so it has one point at the bottom. So when we drop it, it's going to be it'll still find the right place, but it'll be at that one point at the bottom that's touching. Of course, if we have an odd-shaped object, um, or one that's rotated some way, um, then we might end up with results that are somewhat different from what we might expect. So we do have to play with it some. Um, so I'll move this over, put it between these objects, and see if we can get it to rest on one of them. And you'll notice here that it doesn't go all the way down to the table. It actually finds a location that actually rests on these objects, and so it gives the appearance of it actually, if it had fallen. And of course, in this case, we would expect it probably would fall over, but it is resting there anyway. So you might have to adjust that. But if we render this, and we can see basically what it looked like in the book, but then we have this extra object on top of the others. But this is basically collision detection. We cover collision detection more later in the book when we get in, especially when we get into cloth simulation, because there's a lot of collision detection going on there. But this is the first introduction to it.